Uh, yes. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes,
So
yes, I can hear you.
yeah. So
Am I audible?
sorry for keep you waiting. So
No,
good
no,
morning,
not
good
at all.
afternoon.
It was a wonderful talk. So I
Yes.
enjoyed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you are joined. So I'm Udaka, who is in charge of this technical part of this session. And the today session chair is Professor Shivam Rai from OP Jindal Global University in India. So I will going to hand over this session to you, Professor. Okay, you can continue.
Thank you, Professor Udaka. So hi, good afternoon, everyone, and it's privilege to be part of this meaningful, and wonderful conference. Of course, we have lost about 30 minutes of time. We have 9 presentations in total, right? So earlier it was like 15 minutes of presentation and 5 minutes of question and answer session. So we'll keep it like 12 minutes of presentation and 5 minutes of question and answer session, so that we can finish it, everything on time. I'm Professor Shivam, right? And I'm here in India only, and it would have been great to be physically present at the University of ISU, right? And to meet you all in physical format, but I mean we could not do it. I could not do it due to some personal obligations. But of course, due to this technological advancement, we are meeting right from across the globe. I hope many of you might not be there in University of ISU, right? You might be joining the conference from your respective countries. So without any further delay, we'll start the presentation. I think Professor Dimitri, okay, let me check the schedule. Yeah, Professor Dimitrios would be presenting his paper. The title is Simplified Face Image Generation and Aging with Conditional Generative Adversarial Networks and IoT Applications.
Good morning from me. A small mistake. I'm not a professor. I'm just a student, just finished my school.
No.
So let me share my screen.
Sure.
Perfect. So can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible. It's visible.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. As I said, good morning from Greece. It's early in the morning over here. I would like to thank you about giving us the opportunity to present our paper and our work in this conference. Our paper is titled, as you said, Simplified Face Image Generation and Aging with Conditional Generated Adversarial Networks and Internet of Things Applications, written by Mrs. Papatsimoulis, Mr. Michailidis, Professor Sargianidis, Professor Frangoulis, and me. The purpose of our study is to generate simplified cartoon-like images of original faces and to age a generated cartoon, preserving the features of the initial images. Then, to accomplish our goal, we used the generative adversarial network architectures. Let's start with a small introduction to the generative adversarial networks. For all of us, GAN for more easier presentation. There's use of generating images and faces. There are several types of GANs used, such as style GAN, DC GAN, conditional GAN, and etc. that can create faces and portraits. Conditional GAN have been used for face aging because of their ability to take as input, in addition of just a random vector, a precondition to guide the face generation. And additionally, style GAN are used to transfer a style to an image, and particularly it can be used to produce cartoon from real images. These two types were used to complete our study. A small introduction to what's a cartoon gun. It's an architecture used to generate cartoon images, as the name says. And this architecture, in combination with pix-to-pix and cycle gun, are used for training a dataset of cartoon images to create new cartoon images or to convert real pictures into cartoon. The quality of the generated images in all the architectures of GAN depends on the dataset used for training and the architecture we use. So what we did now, we took a base model proposed by Yang Chen et al. And as you can see in the graph, the model was using a down convolution after the first input, 8 layers of residual blocks. And after that, before the output, we used an up convolution. We made some minor adjustments to simplify the training. And as what else? Yeah, right. And we made some up downs on the learning rate, on the optimizers, and etc. So the initial model was trained by using 2000 real face images, as you can see on the top on the left, and had as target cartoons. By the output, we see that the images are too stylized and they don't look natural. We wanted to generate more realistic cartoons, as I said. Thus, we added to the style images, except of the real images we used. And on the target, except of cartoons, we added some sketch images for the training. And as you can see, the outputs and there is so that the cartoons generated are more realistic and natural. Here are some graphs we had from the training process. On the first graph, we measure how close the output matches with the characteristics of the input. That's the content loss. And we see that the results maintain the basic characteristic of the original faces. The second graph on the bottom is presented and it's called the style loss. Over here, we can see that the loss is low, which indicates that the style has been successfully transferred. Now, the second step, since we were able to create a realistic cartoon images, we wanted to apply age transformations to the cartoons. For aging, we used a type of gun that is used to create new portrait images, and we want in different ages. Face age gun can be used in various applications, such filming, animation, virtual reality, and in a small way in the field of forensic science. As I mentioned, we applied face aging, trying to keep the characteristics of the original image. For the implementation of the aging model, we used the C-style gun developed by Quang BK with minor adjustments. How the model works over here, let's see. The image on the right represents a typical conditional gun. As we can see, the generator accepts as input a vector in the latent space along with a secondary vector on the bottom, as you can see, that corresponds to the desired condition. In our case, it's age. The generator produces a face with the characteristics of the latent space vector and the specific features of the age. In order to preserve the characteristics of the input image, we use an encoder which extracts the features of the image and outputs the latent vector for the generator. For the training, we used the new dataset created by us by converting the open dataset UKT face to realistic cartoons with the approach proposed earlier, as I said, organized in 6 different classes. Some examples of the converted images are shown here. On the left side, we can see the original images we gave as input, and the right ones are the converted cartoons output. Some examples more are over there in different ages. We trained the model with a cartoonized dataset, as I said, in resolutions 32 by 32, 16 by 16. The training was had a progressive output size increase until 128 by 128, which was the max resolution we had because we consider that for our purpose, this resolution was adequate. So we can see some more examples to the resolution by 64 by 64, and and the resolution, and then the resolution, the max from 128 by 128. We can see on the pictures, we can see that the training starts from the top to the bottom. The first row of the image indicates the face generated from age 0 to 10. On the second of the bottom, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and at the end, 50 plus. We can see that the images generated are good. So on the last step of implementing the age GAN is to train the encoder to encode cartoonified images to the latent space for the generator. The encoder generates the 1 by 500 latent vector, as I mentioned before, in the GAN architecture, which is fed to the generator in combination with the desired age vector. Over here, we saw 2 examples of converting an input to a different age groups. In the first row, we see that the age transformation giving an image is 0 to 10 and until 50 plus, as I said. The initial photo we gave to the encoder was approximately in the age about between 20 and 30. And in the second image, in the second row, sorry, we gave an age approximately 40 with 50 years old. In conclusion, our models generate realistic cartoon figures resembling the original faces. The age-conditioned cartoons derived from the cartoonified face images are preserving the characteristics of the original image. The resolution, as I said before, 128 by 128 is adequate for an avatar type representation of a person. And as future efforts, we would like to include improvements into the cartoon aging process and the use of the cartoonized images to generate avatar-like videos. Thank you very much for your attention. I would like to answer in any question there is.
Thank you, Dimitris. It was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you very much.
In my opinion, the hardest thing for a researcher is to, summarize his lengthy research in 1 or 2 lines, right? My question to you would be, what would be one key takeaway of your research from a practitioner's point of view?
Can you repeat the question because I didn't hear the first 2 words?
Okay, so my question is, one key takeaway of your research from the practitioner's point of view?
The key aspect of, if I hear it correct, is that we made adjustments to create cartoons, and we used the cartoons as a target to age the cartoons, not real pictures to cartoons.
Okay, Very nice.
I don't know if I answered your question right, but
That's okay. That's okay. You attempted it.
thank you.
All right. Any more questions from? I think
Thank
that
you
would
very
be
much.
it. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
So next would be, I don't know how to prefix, whether it's Professor Nipunika or the researcher Nipunika or Miss Nipunika. So next presentation would be from Nipunika.
Thank you, Professor. Let me share the screen. So I'm going to present our research on improved student engagement in online learning, a review of literature. So it's a joint research by N. Vitana, N. Allepola, and G. Fernando. I would be looking at the introduction, methodology, results and discussion, conclusion, limitations, and future work. So we work for a higher education institute, and we used to teach physically. We conducted lectures physically, but with the spread of COVID-19, our institute, along with many other higher education institutes, opted to deliver courses online. Even though the health risk is reduced now, institutes continue to deliver online due to the many benefits it offers. However, maintaining student engagement throughout online delivery has become a major challenge. So sustaining student engagement is key to produce successful graduates and to become a productive institute. Therefore, the question that we address in our research, what are the methods used to keep the students engaged in online learning? Let's see what is student engagement. We have summarized student engagement as the time and energy that a student invests in educationally purposeful activities inside and outside the classroom, and how the institution uses educationally effective practices. Engagement is made up of 3 dimensions: behavioral, emotional, and cognitive. The methodology we used, we conducted a thorough literature review to obtain methods to improve student engagement in online learning. Approximately 36 research papers written in English and available online were reviewed and analyzed. The articles were selected from Google Scholar, IEEE Explore, ResearchGate, Taylor and Francis, and Science Direct, which are published after 2022. The keywords used in the search string, student, engagement, and online learning, with synonyms for these words, were used in the search string. The results we obtained, we have summarized the methods to improve student engagement into these 8 methods. And this table lists the count that each method appeared in the literature. So as you can see, the teacher support has the highest count, 16. Next, we have peer interaction, and then task characteristics, course design, learning community participation, and so on. Let's move on to the discussion. Teacher support is the highest listed method for on student engagement in online teaching. Quality interactions between the teacher and student create a positive learning environment which promotes healthy relationships, sense of belonging in the learner community, and negotiations. Teachers should treat students as individuals by respecting their differences. Learning opportunities should be designed to cater to different learner needs. Peer interaction. Peer interaction support student engagement in several ways. Collaborations with peers help students to clarify any doubts in their studies. It also helps to maintain student motivation to continuously attend classes. Interacting with peers helps to build favorable online communities. Task characteristics. Learning tasks ought to be challenging and realistic to win student engagement. Tasks may be designed in various formats such as interactive, cooperative, collaborative, or individual or competitive. Tasks may involve problem-based learning for students. Learning community participation. Positive attitude of belonging to the community encourage student engagement. Blending harmoniously with others in the learning community foster active student engagement. Sense of fitting in improve motivation and satisfaction of the learning process. When learner feels insecure, isolated, or disrespected, it would possibly demoralize the learner. Course design. Course design clearly indicates how students should contribute in online class. For an example, the teacher should provide specific instructions for a digital submission or video demonstrating how to do certain tasks, and proper guidelines to adhere to in a forum discussion. Giving feedback on activities, expressing confidence in learner capabilities, establish boundaries of learning activities, and dissemination of effective materials promote effective student engagement. Student autonomy allows the student to feel in control of his or her own behavior and goals. Teachers should support student autonomy by encouraging and facilitating to pursue students' goals. Teacher can encourage different viewpoints of students that enable multiple learning options to suit different learning styles and avoid using controlling language that would demotivate the students. Technological media is another method to improve student engagement. Technological media use has a huge impact on the extent and ease of interactions between learners. Audio-video conferencing, shared discussion boards, documents, and groupware facilitate fast access to information as well as effective communication. Students who feel uncomfortable to speak appreciate the chat facility available in discussion boards and platforms such as Zoom. The least listed method was gamification, but I would say even though it was listed, it doesn't mean it is the least important method to engage students. So gamification, modules that incorporate games and visual aids are enjoyed by students. Students prefer the simplicity, visual aids, and interactions offered by these games. Thus, introducing games in modules increase student engagement. So in the conclusion, in our study, we have identified 8 methods to keep the students engaged in online learning. These 8 methods are student autonomy, learning community participation, gamification, teacher support, peer interaction, task characteristics, course design, and technology media. So as teachers, we cannot assume students to actively engage themselves. It is a responsibility of the teachers to explore determinants of engagement and design the courses that promote effective student engagement. Limitations of the study. So this literature review study has several limitations. These limitations introduce possible future research areas. This study considered relevant papers that discuss student engagement in various categories such as school education, undergraduate, and postgraduate. So sometimes this method could vary depending on the category. So in the future, maybe we can conduct research in specific categories. It cannot be ensured that this review concluded a comprehensive list of relevant research. However, researchers have identified significant characteristics of student engagement in online learning that would be valuable for future studies. So as future work, empirical studies could be conducted to measure the impact of determinants on the student engagement. It is also important to study how these engagement methods promote effective learning. And a more comprehensive literature review can be conducted to identify a complete list of methods for student engagement. So these are the references we have used. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Professor Nipunika. It was indeed a very insightful presentation on the student engagement part. Okay, my only question to you would be the research paper for this review purpose. I mean, what was the time period for them? I mean, till 2022, so 5 years, 10 years period, or 15 years period you took?
Actually, we have considered the last 10 years, but we have considered some important past research done in even 2008, 2009.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Professor Nipunika. Any more questions from anyone? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So next would be Professor Swati, I believe. Yes, Professor Swati Sharma.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Professor Sivam, and everybody. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let me just share my screen. Is it visible, right?
Yes, it is.
I'm just starting. Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. My paper topic is Big Data in Finance, a bibliometric review of literature. So I'll start with the introduction, followed by the literature review, then whatever the research objective for the paper, whatever is the result that I will be discussing. I will also discuss the limitation and the future scope of the paper, and after that I will be concluding my story. So when we talk about the big data in finance, we mean the volume, velocity, and variety. And in the financial market, we used to generate tick by tick data. So data is being too much in volume. So when somebody would like to go for a further study, if they want to have a summarized version, whatever has been done previously, this paper is actually addressing that thing only. So we have identified there are 4 research objective. First one is to identify the publication trend for big data and finance. Second research objective is to find the most influential article and top contributing journal or source database on the big data and finance. Then third research objective is to identify top contributing author and institution on the same topic. And the fourth one, the last one, research objective is to draw inference about the future scope of studies on big data and finance. Their 2019 study has done a literature review, and they have presented a comprehensive view on the topic, but that study was till 2019 only, and our study is including 2022 year till 2022. Nobain 2021 study has also conducted, and they have done the bibliometric review on the big data and finance and discussed the future scope of study. Another paper is by Cockcroft and Russell 2018. They have also done the literature review on the big data and finance, but none of this study has taken this time span that I have taken, that is 30 years from 1992 to 2022. So this is more comprehensive study on the topic. In this paper, I have used Paul 2021 methodology for bibliometric review. So this methodology has 3 processes, that is assembling, arranging, and assessing the data. So we have started the searching the all related research article by putting the keyword that is big data and finance. Our search database was the Scopus, so we found there are 2093 such article. After that, we have done the filtering by putting this word like big data, then finance, risk assessment, forecasting, financial data, financial risk. So these are the keywords that we have used to filter the data. That leave us with 1,521 research article. After that, we have made another sub filter, that is the subject filter. So we have limited our study till to the business and management, economics and finance subject area studies. That leave us with 215 papers. This 215 paper has been arranged year-wise, author-wise, source-wise, citation-wise, country-wise, and the keyword-wise. The last one was the assessment part. For the assessment part, we are using the bibliometric analysis. That means we are going to see the publication trend, whatever are the highest sourced research article, which author has written highest paper, something like that. And our method will include the table and figure for the data analysis part. For the limitation of this study is that we have conducted the search only on the Scopus search database, not on others like Web of Science and other research database were not included. That is the limitation of this study. So let me start with the first research objective, what we have found. So first one was to quantify the trend of publication on big data in finance. So total 30-year data we have taken from 1992 to 2022. In 2022, the exact date is October 30, I've taken. So we found mean that on average, 10 papers are being published every year. There are few years, exactly actually 7 years in which, sorry, not 7, exactly 3 years when there was no paper on the topic. So there were 0 publication. Maximum we found that in year 2022 has 40 publication, and still the year was continuing, so maybe more than 40 paper has been written on the topic. Second research objective include to find the most influential article and top contributing journal. So when I'm saying most influential article, I mean as per the citation, which has the highest citation. So we can see that first paper by Vickery et al., they have 851 total citation. And the total citation of all the publication is 4,450. So if you will see the ratio, that is TC by TPC, means total citation by total publication citation. So we are getting 19% of total citation is coming from this paper only. And their total citation per year is 42, means in every year they are getting 42 citation for the paper. So this is the highest, or you can say the most influential article that we have found. In this table, we have only put the study which has minimum 100 citations. So you can see that minimum 102, then 145 and something, and it will go till 851. That was the highest cited paper. Then table 3 is listing the highest contributing journal on the big data in finance. We found that industrial So we found that industrial management in data system source was have the highest 5 publication and total citation 40. Though it has the highest 5 publication, but you will find that as per the total citation, electronic commerce research and application and energy economics has the highest citation. So though they have only 3 publications, but they have more citation. Same with the total citation by total publication ratio also. Then our third research objective was to identify the top contributing author and their affiliation and top contributing country on the big data in finance. So this table is identifying all the authors which has minimum 2 publication on the topic. And we can see that paper by Paulo has highest 61 total citation, as well as paper by Tobias also have 61. They both have only 2 publications, but they have more citations than the highest total publication by the MK Hassan, that has now who has 3 papers, but only 22 total citation. So we can say that Paulo and the Tobias has the highest contributing author on the topic. Another table is about the affiliation. So Chinese Academy of Sciences highest 5 publication on the topic. But as per the total citation, you can see that Harbin Institute of Technology has 168 total citation, but only 3 publication. Our table 6 is listing the countries which has minimum 10 total publication. So China has maximum 73. Again, as per total citation, when we may see that United States has highest total citation with this 54 publication. So though China is publishing more, but United States papers have more citation, followed by the UK with 21 publication. So if you will go through the TC by TB, that is the total citation by total publication ratio, UK has the highest ratio, that is 59.43. And also the total citation by total cited publication. So in both of this category, United Kingdom is the top on the table. Further drawing the inference about the future scope of study, we have done the keyword searches. As you can see, this keyword co-occurrence network analysis on big data and finance. So number of keyword is being popped up: finance, big data, fintech, information system, sustainability, machine learning, investment. We also did same thing for the year-wise. So from 2016 to 2020, we have taken here, because that was the prime time in which this publication are on the highest in the number. So on the basis of this, we found that there are few topics which are being too much relevant for the future study also. That is the big data and the machine learning, application of big data in green finance and sustainability practice, big data and universe of the cryptocurrency, big data in entrepreneurial finance, big data role in the credit reporting, and financial accessibility. So though we have taken 215 articles for the bibliometric analysis, there are still some limitation. First limitation is the research engine or research database that we are taking, that is Scopus. So that limit the view of this present paper. And keyword that we have taken, the keyword can be more, we can use more keyword to include studies for the same kind of study. This limitation can be overdone by taking the comprehensive keywords and also looking for the hybrid study or the integrated study, which may relate to some other topic, but anyhow, some has something to do with the big data and finance. So we strongly suggest doing a comprehensive review of the employed research methodology and also explore the sub-theme to provide more integrated view on the big data and finance. Lastly, for the conclusion part, we found that new domain like green practice, sustainability, cryptocurrency, entrepreneurial finance, these are the future scope of the big data and finance, including the traditional one that is already in the process. Automation of this day-to-day working and remote working environment bring competitive edge for use of big data and finance. So it's like that. It is going to be prime thing for the financial market also. And big data not only proved to be instrumental in the decision making for individual or institution, but it also take part in the policy making that affect economy and world as a whole, because there are few study which has mentioned this one. So that's it for this paper from my side. Now I welcome any question anyone have. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Swati. I mean, as you are the expert of the finance domain, I just wanted to understand, right? I mean, which country is making more impact in this field in terms of research? For example, China is making more number of research, but citation-wise, USA is ahead. So which country is making more impact?
I would say as per the citation, because their paper found to be more influential. Even the author which has the highest citation paper, they are from the US or the UK. So definitely I'll say not the number wise, but yes, content wise, and the influence that paper is making on the topic is from the US and the UK. Even India, you can find this if you will go through the table. Yeah, this one. Top contributing country, India is on the 4th one, 18 paper. The ratio system. Yeah, so we are making progress, but US and UK definitely are doing well. Yes.
That would be all. Any question from the audience? That would be it, I believe. I believe you have one more research to talk about.
Thank you, everyone. For patience, I have one more paper. My another paper is on the artificial intelligence in financial forecasting, evidence from literature. Artificial intelligence have brought the automated decision-making in financial market as common practice. It's like we are not going to do the calculation by using calculator or doing on pen on paper. Everybody is trying to use some AI tools for the getting result. One of the report by McKinsey and company say that manufacturing stores more data than any other sector close to.
Professor Swati, sorry to interrupt. Is there any PPT associated with it, or?
I'm going through the PPT only. Okay.
Okay. So you
share that screen. Just.
You have shared it already, but the previous PPT is visible.
Actually, the only that page, sorry, only that screen I have shared, so that's why still that one is showing.
Okay.
Just to give. New share. I have changed. Is it visible now? This
Yes,
one is the new.
yes.
Okay.
It's
So as per the McKinsey and Company, manufacturing sector used to store more data than any other sector, that is close to 2 exabyte of new data stored in 2010. So this is just an example how the data that is being generated had needed to be handled. So for such huge amount of data, the use of AI tool seems inevitable, given all other methods may not be sufficient well to handle the volume of such data. Therefore, significance of this AI in financial decision has been explored in a wide range for different kind of decision, either for the credit rating, for providing loan to someone, or choosing which project has to be taken by the company, something like that. For everything, they are using some kind of AI tool. So this study is doing the literature review on such a research paper, which has examined the potential of AI in the financial forecasting. Few of the paper that we found that they have done the literature review. One of this paper is by Goodell et al. 2021. They have done the research. They have explored the role of machine learning in the finance and reported that there are 3 clusters of research study that is frequented with the use of AI and machine learning tool. Another paper by Milan and Astha 2021. They have done the literature review on the AI uses in the financial market, not necessarily for the financial forecasting, but the financial market. And their results support the significant growth of AI tool employment in the financial forecasting. Another paper, the very latest paper by Ahmed et al. 2022, they have done the bibliometric analysis and they have taken time period from 2011 to 2021. So none of this study has actually taken the data since the beginning of the first paper. So we have taken the year 1987 to 2022 for doing this literature review. So this study is conducting the literature review on artificial intelligence financial forecasting for the 35 year of the time span. So there are 4 research objectives. Again, first we will identify the publication trend. Another research objective, second research objective is to find the most influential article and top contributing journal on the topic. Then to identify the top contributing author and the institution and the country. And the last one is to draw inference about future scope of study on artificial intelligence in financial forecasting. For this paper also, we have referred the Paul study 2021, that is the SPAR or SLR method that go through 3 stages, that is the assembly, arranging and assessing. So we have started by putting the word that is artificial intelligence in financial forecasting on the Scopus database, and we found there are 154 papers. Again, we did the subject filtering, that is business and management, economics and econometric and finance. That leaves us with 154 paper. This 154 paper was then arranged year-wise, author-wise, source-wise, citation-wise, affiliation-wise, country-wise, and the research methodology-wise. And the bibliometric analysis method include the publication trend, source title, author, affiliation with the help of the table and figure. This is our first table, that is the descriptive study. We found there on average, there are 4.28 paper, or you can say 4 paper are being published every year. Maximum paper was again in the year 2022, that was 18 paper. Overall, we have taken 36 year of data for this study for this 154 paper. This is the graph. You can see then after the even in the 2019-18, it was more. Second research objective is to find most influential article. So just a minute. Okay, yes. So for this one, the total citation for all publication was 2,687. So this ratio, that is the total citation by total published citation, that is 0.17, means 17% of the total citation is coming from this paper, which has the total citation that is 444 on October 30, 2022. So this is the highest cited paper, and this table is listing the paper which has minimum 50 citation. So these are the number of paper that we have found. Then table 3 is for the source title. We have taken all the sources which has minimum 2 of the publication on the topic. So we found that this IEEE Conference on Computing Intelligence for financial engineering proceeding, they have highest highest publication, that is 12. But as per the total citation, we have found that decision support system has 9 publication and maximum 781 total citation. And again, for them, total citation by total publication is also highest. That is followed by the another journal, that is knowledge-based system. They have total citation 439 and total publication 5, but their total citation by total publication ratio is higher than the decision support system, because though they have lower number of publication, they have more citation. Then this is table 4. It is about the top contributing author and their affiliation. So author which has minimum 2 publication, we have enlisted in this table. We found A. Machinex has highest 5 papers and total citation is 34. So if you will go through the total citation thing, you will find that paper by E. Hadvandi has 427 citation, and again their total citation by total publication and their total citation by total cited publication is the highest one. Yeah, sorry, I just said something. I have made a mistake. I said that even the total citation by total publication, the highest one is by A. Ghanbari, because they have 155, though their total citation is less than the previously mentioned author. So these author E. Hadnavadi and A. Ghanbari is found to be most influential author on the topic. These are the top contributing affiliation. Again, we have listed all the publication which has minimum 3 paper. So we found that Vilnius, Gedimiano, Tech US Universitas has maximum 5 publication, though highest citation is coming from the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, that is 135 citation. Again, their total citation by total cited publication is also highest, and total citation by total publication also. Next table is about the top contributing country. So United States has highest 25 paper, and again, highest total citation also. Though highest total citation by total publication is coming from Iran. They have 108.16 with only 5 publication. China is on second number as per the total publication. India has 10 paper on this one. So for the drawing inference, we have also done, we have also listed, made a table as per the methodology. So you can see that paper which has used neural network has highest number of studies, that is 32. And then the word using machine learning, 18, then decision support system, 21. And so any paper which has been mentioned, any keyword which has been mentioned twice as per the methodology, we have listed those paper here. And last one is the, sorry, this is the keyword co-occurrence network analysis. We can see the word which are being pop out like neural network, artificial neural network, bankruptcy prediction, credit risk, artificial neural network, stock market. These are being used heavily. And this is the year-wise keyword network from 2005 to 2022, sorry, 2020. So we found, as per the sub-thing, stock trading has been explored highest for the highest number of paper, that is 32, followed by the investment analysis, then financial distress, that is the prediction about the financial failure or bankruptcy prediction, and last one is the credit rating. So stock trading has been found to be used heavily, or used to employ the AI tool heavily in their papers. So we are saying that this 154 paper give us some idea about the future scope and the current trends. That is, big data and artificial intelligence are going hand to hand. Sustainability practice and the green finance are also being one of the area in which it is going to be explored. Cryptocurrency, entrepreneurial finance, and the financial accessibility also being part of the paper research article that are being explored and going to be explored in the future as per given the keyword occurrence analysis. Again, the limitation of the study is the database that we are taking is Scopus only. So another database like Web of Science can be also included and more comprehensive, because in this study, we haven't used keyword filter. We have used only the subject-wise filter. So keyword filter may be also used to see the comprehensive view on the topic. So the conclusion of the paper says that artificial intelligence is in the financial forecasting is going to be used heavily, even in the future also, given the volume of the data and the automation, everything. New domain are also going to be explored, like green practice, sustainability, cryptocurrency. So based on the review of the 154 study, it can be concluded that artificial intelligence in financial forecasting is not limited to the core finance area only. So other related area like ESG, investment, supply chain finance also being included in the studies, which are being prominently used in the last 4 or 5 years, not before that. So we can say that including AI in the financial forecasting will going to be explored in the future also with more sophisticated methodology. Okay, so that's it from my side. Any question?
Thank you once again, Professor Swati. Just a curious question, okay? It's not from your paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, few days back, I was reading one article from Bloomberg, right? So there they were talking about that, 90 to 95% of the people who, who actively trade in stock, so they lose money, right? So my question is, artificial intelligence, right? How successful or how effective it has been in forecasting these things?
As this is suggesting that stock trading is using the AI tool most frequently, or you can say predominantly. But as you said that people used to lose. So are we talking about the volume or by the numbers? Suppose there are 100 people and 90 people are losing, but only the 10 people which are not losing, they have had the profit that is too much in the volume. That I am not sure that study is referring as per the number or the volume. But yes, the use of AI will give you more analytical. If we talk about the anomaly in the stock market, people used to, trade whimsically. Sometimes there is no reasoning why they are selling or buying that stock. But if you are using some tool, definitely you have some logical reasoning to make any decision, either to buy or to sell or to hold the stock. So if you are using, it is going to, in long run, definitely it will be more profitable, or you can say more viable rather than just doing something without any reasoning. So AI is better. If you are using some AI tool or some report related to AI tool, I will say that that will be good, or whatever decision you are taking, that will be based on some kind of base. It will not be any basis. So it has. I think it should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, AI will help those 90 or 95%.
Because you can't read everything. If suppose somebody is doing intraday trading, you won't be able to. We have some limitations.
Right,
That's the need of AI is there.
I mean, there's no further question from my side.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone has any question?
I think that would be it. Thank you so much, Professor Shah.
Thank you so much, Professor Shum, and everyone. Have a good day.
You too. Next would be Professor Prima.
Yes, sir. Sir, can I have the sharing option?
Yeah, Professor Swati, please stop sharing so that, yeah, thank you. Now you can share. Yes.
Sir, can you see my screen?
Yes. That's right.
1 minute. Okay, sir. Good afternoon to everyone who is present over here. I am Prima from Christ University from India, Bangalore. My study is based on a comprehensive study on detection of emotion using body movements with machine learning approach. Okay, the table of content. 1 minute. Okay, the table of content which includes introduction, different modules, and body movement, objectives, and kinematic models, literature review, result and analysis, conclusion, and references. Beginning with the introduction, emotions are the fundamentals for human beings and to play an important role in human cognition. There are different modules used to identify emotions like speech, face, EEG, physiological signals, and body movement. The review focuses on identifying various emotions with the help of full body and pass-based movement. Full body movement uses kinetic senses to identify emotions using kinematic models. The various popular machine learning algorithms like supportive recognition, neural networks, and convolutional neural networks are majorly used to identify basic emotions. So emotions play an important role in human communication and can be expressed either verbally through emotional vocabulary or by expressing non-verbal clues such as intonation of voice, facial expressions, gestures, body movements, and different signals like EEG, ECG, etc. So let's have it just simple glance at the different modules like EEG, physiological signals, face, and audio. Each are the signals which electrosonography we say it. These signals are placed on the scalp of the person, and it is a brain signals which is we are accepting it. And the physiological signals are the signals as which it contains, such as pulse, heart rate, blood pressure, blood volume pulse, and galvanic sync response, and electromyography. It's used for emotion identification. And face, as we know, this is the non-verbal signs which play an important role in interpersonal communication. Face can be, we can be identified from the face through the images or from the videos, we'll be able to identify emotions. And audio signals carries the feelings and intentions of the speaker. Signal analysis can be done in both time and frequency domain to obtain features. Coming into the body movement. Body movement is an alternative for recognizing emotions from a distance. It also emerges to develop a system that can be recognized and know the nonverbal clues that humans express than words through their body movement. In the surveillance environment, facial view is not clear when camera is too far from human. This type of issue can be rectified by capturing body movements for recognizing human emotions. As we know, body movements which always contain head, hands, legs, and center of the body. And in this study, I have just made a review based on different movements, like emotion recognition movements from different things, like full body movements and pass beat movement. In the pass beat movement, we have already, it contains already head, hands, and face, and have done review on that one. In the full body movement, emotion recognition from the body motion has received less attention in the scientific community compared to recognizing emotions from the facial expression and speech analysis. And emotion recognition based on human body movement is an emerging area of research. The interest in emotion recognition focusing only on body movement, postures, gestures has risen dramatically over the last few years. Here come the objectives of the body movements. There are different objectives. Here we have put a few. That is biometric security. As we know, the full body scanning can be helping out the biometric security, and to understand the psychological behavior of the person. If the person is coming into the medical field or as a patient, if we want to know his psychological behavior, it will be good. And if in the case of the person hides emotion from the face, like if he hide his face or the changes in the volume of his speech, then it will be helpful. And maximum utilization of manpower can be obtained through this body movement. Here we introduce some kinematics models, which we say, because in the body movement, usually we see kinematic models which used to identify the emotions. It means that just making a collection of interconnection joints of the body. As we see in the right side of the figure, we know the different joints have been made based on the figure of the body, and based on the movement of the joints, we identify what is the emotions. Simplification of the human skeleton and its mechanisms can be used in this. A common mathematical representation of such a model is through cyclical tree graph, which also represent advantage of being computationally convenient. I have done a literature review based on 3 different scenarios. That is full body movements, and second is pass-based movement, and third one is different modules like EEG, audio, and physiological signals. And in the scenario 1, full body movement, the dataset is being used is the public datasets and the University of York, JEP, and Gannett Kind. And the findings from the data sets, finding from the full body movement, that emotion recognition states that body motion pattern can be particularly useful in HRS scenarios and classify emotion states from 3D skeletal information. But the limitations of this human-computer interaction, the need to understand and imitate the behavior of a human paramount. The human movement style is often affected by gender and culture. And the scenario 2, the pass-based movement, in which one the datasets has been used, we planned to Gannett and Jefferd and KDF. And it mainly focuses on the representation of building and emotion recognition from the gestures like head, hands, and face. Each pass has separately used as a module to identify the emotions. There is no automatic multimodal emotion recognition as its limitation. So to the utilize the source of emotion that can be based on face, voice, and body gestures at the same time. The scenario 3, different modules like EEG, audio, and physiological signals. It also used the different data sets like D, Manhope, and HL, and FABO. So the findings in this one, this is mainly based on different signals like EEG and audio and physiological signals. So the different signal processing methods are used to identify the emotions. The limitation that moment of eye blinking causes a lot of noise and artifacts caused to identify emotion in an accurate manner. These are the different literature review based on full body movement. I have just mentioned about in the other PPT, but the different classifiers has been used here, and the emotions like based on different data sets and the different classifier, what are the emotions has been identified, and the accuracy rate of the each emotions that also be shown here. Okay, in the next, this one, it is based on pass-based model. This is, as I have said in the introduction part, it has been classified in the 3 categories as I have classified: hands, head, and face. So based on these 3, we could see that by individually with different datasets they have been used, and individually when it has been done, the face has occurred more, and the more emotions also it has been identified from this literature review. Okay. So from the result and analysis, as we have done the review on based on this one, sorry. In the above performance, the x-axis has been considered as different references, like x-axis really based for the full body moment, and y-axis for the accuracy level of each emotions, how much it has been identified. In the full body moment analysis, feed-forward deep conversion neural network algorithm was used, and the performance level is 95.40%. And we could see the performance of neural network gained accuracy level of 88.80 with the 3D skeleton information. That is mainly based on the schematic model. And SVM classifier also is used 3D skeleton gained accuracy of 76.37% and 61.90%. So we could see through this graph what are the emotions identified through the full body moment. In the based on different parts-based moment, as we have said, I have differentiated between hands, head, and face. In the pass-based moment, face is the component that performed well with K nearest neighbor algorithm in the respect to 95.50 using 3D face modeling with Microsoft Kinect sensor. So neural network classifier performed well with 93%. In the pass-based moment, head module used locus-Cantor algorithm to gain 91.40%. And CNN performed comparatively less in the case of pass-based moment than full body moment. And in the conclusion part, as I say, the comparative in the paper, we have just gone through a comparative analysis done on different scenarios to identify motions. The different scenarios are like full body moment, pass-based model, and the different modules like third scenarios like the EEG and physiological stimulants. And full body moment and pass-based moment performance is compared with each other also. As compared with, we could see in the full body moment is good, but pass-based moment in the face is given more accuracy. The performance of different ML algorithm is analyzed based on different modules. And the review concludes that CNN and neural network and SVM classifiers are efficient method for handling data in emotion identification. These are the some references that I have. I couldn't put everything, so still I have just put it. Okay, this is all about.
That's, I must say, I mean, that is a fantastic piece of research. Here we have Professor Prema.
Yes, sir.
So I have one practical question.
Yes, sir.
For example, I mean, these emotion recognition techniques, will it be helpful for big companies? For example, let's say, you know, Walmart or Marks and Spencer or IKEA, the big companies who have, you know, physical stores,
Yes,
right? Or the big retailers, will it be helpful for them?
Sure, sir, because as we say that emotions are always identified with the bodies. Often it is, we will say it's useful because if you know, if through the face or other something at all, we will be able to hide the, we cannot tell that we have shown the proper or the accurate emotion on the face properly or on the through the speech. If we are as we said, if it is the person is away from the camera, how we will be able to identify his emotions from far, how we'll be able to know his emotions. So in that situation also, it will be great help.
Correct. I mean, just out of curiosity,
Okay.
let's say, you know, in Walmart store, right? if they are able to recognize your emotion,
Yes.
can they convert? I mean, I think they can convert, into more profitable opportunities, right?
Sure,
Based
sir.
on our emotions.
Yes, see, as I said, the full manpower is the maximum utilization manpower. For example, if it is in the organization, if the person's emotions are identified in a proper way, we'll be able to utilize the person's manpower. So wherever, maybe whichever the place, if we are able to, if the person is okay, if he's showing on his face, he's happy, everything, but whereas inside he may not be. Okay, if we are able to tackle by his body movement, everything, whatever, we will be able to tackle his emotion and be able to forward him, or otherwise make use of his proper way of utilization of his emotion, then he will be the manpower, the utilization manpower can be good in the situations or the wherever.
Yes. Correct. Any more questions? All right. Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we have Professor Jyotsna.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to everyone. Just a second, I'll share the screen. I hope the screen is visible.
Yeah, the screen is visible, but your voice is breaking down. So I believe there are some internet connection issues.
Okay.
Yes.
Now is it audible? Is it audible?
Yeah. You are audible.
Yeah. Okay. So the research article titled Novel Deep Neural Network-Based Stress Detection System is authored by myself, Dr. Rohini V. and Dr. Joy Paulus. We are from the Department of Computer Science, Christ, deemed to be University, Bangalore, India. So the next, this is.
Professor, are you there?
Yes. The slides are not moving. I am not able to.
All right.
Move the slides.
Okay. There might be an issue with the system, right? But it's okay. I mean, you can tell us about the research. It's visible.
The contents. Yes. The contents page. So the contents are introduction, literature review, methodology, results and discussion, conclusion, and future enhancement. Introduction. So here, so we are dealing about the stress detection system. So stress can be considered as a state of tension at the bodily or the emotional level. So in this present research work, we have analyzed the stress among the people across the globe, considering the COVID-19 scenario. So the data set that was used is a Twitter data set. So this is a deep learning based stress detection system. So as we all know that frustration, despair, anxiety, and other mental health problems are prevalent nowadays, and it needs to be taken care and appropriate has to be given to the patient. And neural-based stress detection system helps us in stress detection. So the literature survey. So first literature review is titled Mental Stress Detection in University Students Using Machine Learning Algorithms. The authors are Ravinder and others. It was out in the year 2019 that was aimed to analyze the stress in the college students using machine learning algorithms. The methodology adopted was linear regression, naive-based, random forest, and support vector machine. So the results have indicated that the highest accuracy was provided by support vector machine, that is 85.71%. Second literature survey is analyzing Indian general public perspective on anxiety, stress, and trauma during coronavirus pandemic. There are around 840,000 tweets were considered, and the authors are Praveen and others, to understand the attitude of Indians during the corona situation. So the machine learning techniques and natural language processing techniques are adopted. The results indicate that even during the state of the pandemic, there was the tweets are neutral in nature. The third literature survey is stress detection using natural language processing and machine learning over social interactions. The authors are Tanya and others. It was a very recent research article in 2022. It was carried out by using bidirectional encoder representation from transformers, and the accuracy obtained was 94%. So the framework which is adopted here is collection of the training data set, pre-processing the data set, and by using this non-negative matrix factorization for dimensionality reduction, then latent Dirichlet allocation, which is a topic modeling algorithm, labeling of the training data set, construction of deep learning architecture. 3 models were constructed. One is recurrent neural network with a single layer of long short-term memory. And the second model is RNN with a double layer of long short-term memory. And the third model is RNN with bidirectional long short-term memory layer. And finally, the testing data set was used to test the accuracy of the model. The methodology is discussed in detail. So whatever we saw as a framework will be explained in detail in the upcoming slides. So here the entire implementation was by using Google Colab, and the programming language is Python programming language. So the first step in this research is training data set collection. So by using the following link, which is mentioned in the slide, the data set was collected for stress detection. Basically, it contains 1,952 stressful and non-stressful comments. And the labeling of the data set was not carried out, but by using this latent Dirichlet allocation and non-negative matrix factorization, the training data set was labeled. So the number 1 was given for stressful comments and 0 for non-stressful comments. Next is training data set pre-processing. Since the data set contains many URLs and some special symbols and some inaccuracies and stop words. Stop words are those words which are not required from analysis point of view. So the articles A and those kind of words are not required from analysis point of view and hence need to be eliminated. So in order to eliminate these inaccuracies, inconsistencies, and incomplete data, the pre-processing was undertaken. So all the code entirely is written in Python programming language, and the good quality data set is obtained. So after the pre-processing is done, the next is we have used this non-negative matrix factorization, which plays a very important role in dimensionality reduction, where only the important features in the data set is considered. So dimensionality reduction using NMF is performed. Then the next step is latent Dirichlet allocation. So as we all know that the data set contains a number of interesting patterns and dominant topics. So all these have to be extracted, and it can be done by using this unsupervised learning algorithm, that is latent Dirichlet allocation. Next is a recurrent neural network with long short-term memory. So this is the architecture of RNN along with LSTM, which is a deep neural network based system. So artificial neural networks are considered. So RNN belongs to the category of artificial neural networks. We say that the architecture is looped because the output which is obtained from the previous step is considered as input to the next state. And long short-term memory is considered as an extension of RNN. And when LSTM is combined with RNN, it will improve the accuracy of the model. Next is recurrent neural network with long short-term memory. So here we have used the optimization algorithm called root mean squared propagation, and activation function used is sigmoid activation function, which has improved the accuracy of the considered stress detection model. So here we have compared the three different deep learning architectures. If we can observe that recurrent neural network with single layer of long short-term accuracy of 9%, and recurrent neural network with two layers of long short-term memory with 7 epochs gives 95.08% accuracy, and recurrent neural networks with bidirectional long short-term memory with 7 epochs gives 94.13% accuracy. When we compare between all three models, it is the recurrent neural network with two layers of long short-term memory has given the maximum accuracy, that is 95.08%. So here we have written the in the results and the discussion about the RMS prop, that is root mean propagation optimization algorithm, which can be convention of the gradient descent, that is powerfully optimized neural networks considered. So accuracies are mentioned. Next is, this is a graph representing the accuracy of the three algorithms considered, followed by this. So this is a word cloud. Word cloud is used for data visualization. So here we can see that some of the words are getting bolder and bigger because the frequency of that particular word in the data set is maximum. So if a particular word appears maximum number of times in the data set, it appears bigger and bolder, and hence the frequency is higher. So this is a data visualization technique to analyze the interesting characteristics and patterns of the data set. As a conclusion, so we have concluded that social media networking sites like Facebook and Twitter are great platforms for detecting the stress among the individuals, because they're freely able to express their opinions on any subject matter. The testing data set also contains tweets, and there are 295 tweets considered, and the stress detection system classifies each tweet as stressful or not using deep neural networks. The value 1 is assigned for a stressful tweet, and a value 0 is assigned for non-stressful tweet. Then future enhancement is that we would like to experiment the model by considering different optimization algorithms and activation functions. So it is all this the research. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Jyotsna. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes.
I have just one question. For example, I mean, it's about stress detection system, right?
Yes, yes.
So let's say if you have to find out whether I'm stressed or not, right? So how exactly it is going to work?
Yes.
I just wanted to understand the practical aspect, that how exactly it works.
Okay, so this is basically opinion mining is based on the social media networking sites. So if a person is stressed or not, like when a person expresses it through the social media, we are analyzing it using this neural network system. So based on the social media comments. So when a person is sad, maybe the posts are related to the sad or maybe stressed manner. So when those kind of posts are shared, it will be analyzed and it will be classified as stressful or not.
Okay. So based on my social media postings, your system would be
based
deciding.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Okay.
And it can have many practical implications, right? For example, college students, right? And other people,
Yes,
elderly people, right? Who are more expressive on the social media platform, right? So this research
those
can
people who are active on social media.
And more introvert people, right? I mean, I've seen a pattern. I mean, I was going through one paper. So there it talked about, more introvert people talk more on the social media because, interpersonal interaction, they avoid. So this research can be, and this framework can be very useful in those scenarios, right? To find out the people, right, who are more stressed and then preventive measures can be taken. Right?
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
very much,
Yes, sir.
Professor
Yes, sir.
Jyotsna.
Correct.
Any more
Okay,
question
sir.
in the audience? All right. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Jyotsna.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have Professor Meenakshi.
Hello, sir.
Hi, good afternoon.
Okay, means I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Let me share the screen first. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. It's visible.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Meenakshi, a PhD scholar in Christ University under the guide supervision of Dr. Chandraji. And our topic, it's a review work on research advancements in autism spectrum disorder using neuroimaging. Using neuroimaging. So let's start with the introduction of autism. Autism is a heterogeneous neurodevelopmental disorder that interferes with normal brain development. Brain connectivity may serve as a biomarker for understanding the disorder and the symptoms that occur at the early age of 6 months and continue till late years. It says, let me make it simple. It says the symptoms may occur at the age of 6 months, but the diagnosis is not yet achieved. And that's why it gets late till late years by 60 years also sometimes. So symptomatology of autism includes genetic, behavioral comorbidities, impaired social communication, restricted repetitive behavior. These are the categories where they show symptoms. They show symptoms like simple genetic disorders, hyperactivity, impulsivity, aggression, non-verbal communication, restricted and repetitive behavioral. And there are 3 functional levels of autism where it goes from mild to severe. Mild who require less support, like support. The medium requires substantial support, like frequent restrictive repetitive behavior is a symptom where they need support consistently. And the severe, where they require very substantial support, means severe deficits in verbal and non-verbal and communication. And they also find difficulty in changing actions or focus to somewhere, like making eye contacts, etc. So available scientific evidence suggests that the factors for subject to have autism are genetics, environmental, neurobiological pathologies. Means that we can say that these are the main causes behind the autism. And autism falls into, like, it is a comorbidity or it is an umbrella condition which falls with Asperger's, pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, that is PDD-NOS, and autism, where Asperger's is like a milder level of autism. PDD-NOS and autism share the symptoms, but PDD-NOS doesn't have all the symptoms of autism. The prevalence, the very scary part of autism is it is increasing with 178% yearly since 2000, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Worldwide, the rate is 1 in 54. And US alone, it is concluded that half of a population will be autistic by 2025. So this is why we have taken the topic autism. There's diagnosis and treatment. The diagnosis, some of the most commonly applied screening tools and neuroimaging. 2 ways are there to diagnose the autism. Where the screening tools includes the ADI-ADOS, Childhood Autism Rating Scales, Modified Checklist for Autism, that is MCHART, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder, that is DSM, Autism Diagnostic Interview, revised, that is ADR, ADIR, and Autism Diagnostic Observation, that is ADOS. So these are the screening tools which are used by special clinical specialists and experts to observe or having some questionnaire. And the other way is neuroimaging. Challenges in diagnosis with screening tools are that they require clinical experts and well-trained resource personnel to observe and record the findings in autism. Autism comorbidity with other medical and mental conditions increase the complexity of accurate detection. There we introduce the neuroimaging. Brain imaging approaches like EEG, MRI, and DTI can be used for early diagnosis and understanding of the functional connectivity of the autism brain, which is very much important to understand how it occurs and what are the problems and how can we deal with it. So under neuroimaging, EEG and MEG, the scannings, they scan objects or event-related electric activities of brain using electrodes. MEG study of gamma oscillation when performing a task, observed behavioral and neurological variations in autistic subjects. MRI is used to visualize the structural and diffusion images of the brain to observe the volume, size, and integrity of information about the gray matter and white matter. SMRI and fMRI produce distinct information for analysis and classification of autism. In contrast, DTI describes fiber structure and maturity level of only white matter, which is important for studying the connection between neurons. The developmental delay in the autistic brain has been shown here with the use of various modalities of imaging, MRI, EEG, and DTI. We can clearly see here the autistic and the control brains have different effects, and specific areas are colored with some different color. In EEG image, it is blue with blue. Autism DTI, as we already discussed, it is a white matter flow only. So it is showing the functional connectivity. It's kind of fiber structure. So it is very much important to discuss the data set here because the screening tools, the data collected with the screening and observation scale is available worldwide. But open source imaging data sets availability is limited. So the people who are supporting the research fraternity with the availability of neuroimaging the data sets are UCI repositories, NDAR, NIMH, and Abide, and we are really thankful to them. So according to our literature survey, we have come across types of diagnosis. There are some 4 types of diagnosis tools are there. Their characteristics, their findings, and their limitations. As we have already discussed, the first tool are the screening tools. Their characteristics are observation, questionnaire based diagnosis. They are non-invasive and most frequently used till now for the diagnosis of autism. The findings are scores on scales decide the level of severity. The limitations are the diagnosis requires unbiased observation, which is rare. Sometimes it affects the diagnosis also, which takes us to misdiagnosis. The other one is EEG. That is the characteristics are channel electrode readings to measure brain electric activity, collection of time series. They identify ASD biomarkers and functional connectivity between brain regions. The limitations are difficult to reproduce and complex interaction between frequency band and brain regions need to be understood for cognitive disorder. Structural MRI and functional MRI are both a type of MRI modality, but the SMRI is 3D kind of images and fMRI is 4D. They both are high resolution non-invasive imaging. The findings are in the brain, superior brain development observed using geometric features and volumetric features of brain to differentiate the ASD. Means if you want to differentiate, SMRI provide 2 types of information, that is volumetric and geometric. Whereas fMRI provides high spatial resolution imaging for functional connectivity. The limitations are they also need experts to study, and that's why the AI come into picture, because when they need experts to study, the AI is providing the deep learning of high resolution imaging and to come across with the higher accuracy classification models. They are costly, but more accurate results produce higher classification accuracy when implemented with AI. The last one is IoT, Internet of Things. So a very, we can say limited use of it, because they just collect the data and keep it on the central repository, and only demographic data records are yet collected. So we can say there are just some basic instruction they provide based on the collected data. So the challenges we have come across during our literature survey are: the primary challenge in the current scenario is the early and accurate diagnosis of autism to plan the training, therapy, and treatment for the subjects. A large size feature set requires a substantial time to compute, an ideal size of memory, and powerful processing device. Automated diagnostic tools are introduced, but the classification results are based on the symptoms with the possible of comorbidities. Means there might be possibilities are there to, like, they're sharing the symptoms with some other disorders also. Deep learning models are efficient for some neurological disorders, but not yet achieved a good result with autism, because multiple research work has implemented machine learning due to the lack of data, because machine learning needs the higher data but less than deep learning models. Most of the authors witness the scarcity of data as a major challenge in achieving higher accuracy while applying AI strategies. Integrating data from multiple sites in multiple modalities for future investigation of autism is strongly recommended, but still a challenge. So here is the result analysis. In our review work, we have reviewed 45 papers, and according to them, some were based on machine learning strategies, some were based on deep learning strategies, and we are presenting the best performed classification models here. Based on this, we had come across with the artificial intelligence MLDL IoT methodologies capable to work with multiple data modalities, and it is automated and more accurate decision making. It makes it possible. So under machine learning, just we have seen here the best performing are SVM, select K-boost, transfer learning, L2 logistic regression, and maximum relevance, minimum redundancy, that is MRL, MRMR gradient boost. And deep learning, the best performer, the classification models were autoencoder, single multi-layer perceptrons, convolutional neural network, and deep neural network. They both are multi-site, inter-site, MRI, SMRI, fMRI, and demographic data. The machine learning and deep learning works with all of this kind of data. So the conclusion is the neuroimaging data set availability is limited and repeatedly applied by various AI models to obtain optimal accuracy. Medical images need well-trained experts to interpret the biomarkers for successful diagnosis. The most frequently used pre-processing softwares during our review work, the papers what we have studied, are software packages, are brain extraction tools, BET, fMRIB software libraries, that is FSL, statistical parametric mapping, SPM, and FreeSurfer. The best performing classification models under AI is SVM, L2LR, DNN, and CNN. A significant observation of the review is that fMRI provides high dimensional information, yet is underdeveloped due to the variation in pre-processing results, lack of longitudinal data, and data collected from various resources, which is difficult to make a standard form or generalized form to work with classification model, which makes it complex to process and generalize. The application of multimodal dataset is recommended in various neurological research works for developing classification models in the field of cognitive deficiencies. And so we also recommend the same for autism research also. Thank you. These are some supplementary data provided with our references. These are the machine learning findings, deep learning findings, and the references. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Meenakshi. First, I would like to congratulate you. Very few people choose such a brave topic for research.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right? Nowadays, the trend is people try to choose more topics which have more commercial applications. Correct. Rather than such a sensitive topics like autism. So yes. I thank you very much.
Thank you.
And all the best for your future research.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So next would be Professor Preeti and my research. So Professor Preeti was unable to join us because he has meetings with some startups. So I'll be presenting her research, or I mean, it was the collaborative research of ours. So it was related to the educator engagement, right? We, for example, earlier in our presentation, Professor Nirupama talked about the students, engagement. Now we will be talking about the educators engagement. So if we talk about, what are the main challenges for our education system these days? So they are twofold. First, emerging technologies. For example, 10, 15 years back, we, classrooms were there, right? And in terms of technology, there were projectors. So, the teacher is coming, the educator is coming, and he is going to just, use that projector for the PPT presentations. That was the case. Now see the today's case, right? For example, let's say 10, 15 years back, if you have to present, a conference paper, you need to go and visit that place and then you are going to present, right? That is not the case. For example, today, right? We are from, different nationalities attending this conference from different nations, different time zones, right? So twofold objectives, two major challenges are emerging technologies. And the second would be effective implementation, right? As an educator, we need to, effectively implement all these technologies by including it, or emerging it comprehensively in our classrooms, right? So, I mean, be it academic scholars or the practitioners, right? We all recognize the role of smart learning today, right? Of course, it has changed, a lot since the pandemic, right? And this online education system, it has become $1 billion industry, right? For example, the platforms like Zoom or Microsoft Teams, right? Or, the other e-learning platforms and simulation and web-based learning, right? So the previous decade, if we talk about, so it has, witnessed a significant growth in the application of emerging technologies, right? In terms of mobile apps or web-based learning or e-learning platforms and simulation. So our research was all about, that if an educator, right, is more engaged cognitively and emotionally, right, towards these emerging technologies, right? So he or she will be more, I would say, effective in that particular classroom, right? Plus, we also included this learner's self-efficacy, right? How how familiar the learner is towards, these technologies, and will it have any impact on the educator's effectiveness, right? Many a times,
sorry to interrupt. Are you sharing a screen or?
No, the future Professor Udaka, I'm not sharing any screen.
Okay.
Yeah. So, see, our conference is about ICT technologies, right? So it's an experiment kind of thing. I thought, it will be, my presentation will be more like a storytelling. So, where I was, yes. So, this research was about 3 factors: educators' engagement. Then it was about learners' the mediating role of learners' self-efficacy, and the output variable was the educator's effectiveness, right? So we gathered the data from about 250% students and educators, right, from 3-4 cities. Basically, the online data gathering was happening, right? And it took us about 2-3 months. And still, this research is in, a very raw stage, right? So we are thinking of, taking more data for about 1,000 people, data from the 1,000 people. So it will take another 4, 5, 6 months to do that. What exactly we did with that 250 data, right? We gathered it. We chose this Kahn's, educator model, educator engagement model, where he talked about the, the physical presence of the educator, the cognitive and the emotional presence of the educator in the classroom, right? And then we took the factor, this learner's self-efficacy, that, how familiar the learners are with these technological tools, right? For example, the simulation or the e-learning platforms, right? I remember, when the pandemic started and we, our institute told us that, we are going to use the Zoom platform, or we are going to use the Microsoft Teams platform. It was difficult for us. It was a bit challenging for us to, to adopt to that particular platforms, right? And it took us some time. I mean, if I remember in my case, so first lecture was like, okay, what exactly I'm doing here, right? So it took us, after 2, 3, 4 lectures, I got used to it, right? So as more technology is coming, right? So we gradually, prepare ourselves mentally towards that situation, that, okay, this new technology is coming. It is beneficial for the student, right? It would be more, it would, make the classes more interactive, right? So, I mean, it's a basic research, but exactly we did. And we found that, in cases, okay, let's first talk about the methodology. So we use simple structural equation modeling thing, right? So we gathered the data, we prepared a standard questionnaire, and then we went for the factor analysis, right? And then structural equation modeling was done. So what we found in our study, right, at this point of time, from that 250, the data, right? I won't say that the findings are accurate, because we'll be taking more and more data, right? So that the findings could be generalized. At this stage, we have found that, if the learners are more familiar with the system, right, then the effectiveness of educator has enhanced in the class, right? He thinks that, okay, whatever I'm going to deliver, the learners have some understanding about that. That was the first finding. Second, we found that, we segregated the data age group wise. So we found that, in educators who were 45 plus age, they had, they were more, reluctant to adopt to the new methods of the teachings, right? So they were like, okay, the classrooms which were before the pandemic were more good, right? So, but, the age group where the people were like below 45, there, they were more keen to learn the new technological, they were more engaged in adopting these technological platform. So that is the raw findings of our raw research. And that would be it. Thank you. If any questions or any suggestions are welcome, because we are developing that research. It would take around 6-7 months, or maybe more than that. All right. Thank you very much. So last we have Professor Gaurav. Professor Gaurav, you're there?
Yeah, I'm there. Am I audible?
Yes, now you're audible.
And are my slides are visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah, great. So thanks, Professor Shivam. So the title of my presentation is Understanding Behavioral Intentions to Use Telemedicine in Healthcare, Insight from the Medical Practitioners. Here, the medical practitioners means the doctors who are going to treat the patients. So this paper is co-authored by me and as well as another professor, that is Deepak Sangroya. And the flow of presentation, what I'm going to say is what basically telemedicine is, what are the benefits in the healthcare sector, why there is a need for doing research in this particular sector in context of India, what is the scope and motivation. Then we develop some of the hypotheses, then we will discuss a brief about the research methodology, then some of the discussions and contributions of this. In a nutshell, before starting, if I summarize the objective of the study is to develop a model based on UTA-UT framework, that is Unified Theory of Acceptance and Use of Technology, to quantitatively examine the factors that influence telemedicine adoption from the practitioners, that is doctors' perspective in the Indian healthcare sector. The method what we have used is questionnaire analysis and structural equation modeling. Some of the key highlights of the study is the study investigates the factors that influence telemedicine adoption. A model was developed based on UTA-UT framework. The constructs of UTA-UT framework, which includes performance expectancy and effort expectancy, have a positive and significant effect on behavioral intention to adopt telemedicine. And one more, we have extended that UTA-UT framework by integrating personal innovativeness into the framework in the context of healthcare sector. Now talking basically, we all are aware about the telemedicine. For example, during the COVID, when hospitals were closed for a normal patients, and we have to consult the doctors, and maximum times we have to consult these over phone or either a video call. So it got popularity, particularly from that phase during the COVID only. Now, what basically telemedicine is? According to WHO, telemedicine is the delivery of healthcare services by using information and communication technology, that is ICT, for the exchange of information for diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of diseases. Now, why telemedicine is required and why it became so much popular? Because basically the telemedicine cuts down the one-to-one interaction between the patient as well as the doctor or healthcare provider, and useful when handling infectious diseases, what we have already seen during the period of COVID. Now, how it basically works? There may be different ways to for this telemedicine works, but basically the primary thing is maybe you will call the call center executive. They will forward their call to the clinical officer. Clinical officers gather some of the minimum information about your symptoms and then forward the call to the concerned doctor. Basically, the concerned specialist. If it is related to general physician, then the call will be transferred to the physician. If it is related to a dermatologist, your call will be transferred to the dermatologist. So the doctor hears your problems, provides you the e-prescriptions. Patient receives the e-prescriptions and medicine if required, or you can collect the medicine purchase the medicine from the shop, whichever you feel convenient. Second way is directly you are calling the doctors and then taking their consultation. They are suggesting some of the medicine or prescriptions, and accordingly you are. In terms of definition, if we talk American Telemedicine Association, telemedicine is the natural evolution of healthcare in the digital world, because everywhere you are seeing now we are talking and we are moving towards digital world. So telemedicine is amongst them in terms of healthcare sector to taking it towards the digital world. Now, WHO has defined telemedicine as the delivery of healthcare service where distance is the critical factor. Similarly, it translates to healing at a distance. Doctor is sitting at some other place, patient is sitting at some other place, and they are suggesting you something so that your problem, your symptoms will get over. Now, benefits of your telemedicine, if we talk about the benefit, patients outreach, it extend reach and expand healthcare service to the patients. Even it can reach to rural sector also. Effectiveness, present more effective use of clinicians outpatient slots. Convenience, it conveniently monitor and manage long-term patient care. Throughput, assist physicians to serve more patients. Workforce limitations, because it requires minimum patient access, and workforce limitation issues, it can be solved. Diagnosis time, prevent delay of diagnosis for certain deadly conditions, disease. Social distancing, prevent the spread of airborne infections. Revenue, because it is a new stream of revenue to physicians and hospitals. Now if we talk about Indian, particularly healthcare sector, it is amongst the most significant sectors in terms of employment and revenue. Healthcare delivery system is categorized into two major subcomponents, that is public and private. Extension of coverage is increased because of the entry of the private players in this sector. Indian healthcare sector infrastructure, though it is very important for, but it is a complex because there are different stakeholders involved. If we talked about the stakeholders, then patients are involved, doctors are involved, hospitals are involved, the firms which are making and delivering the medicines are involved, other hospital staffs are involved. Now, why basically the importance of research in that particular domain? We have seen that it has a various importance, like numerous benefits of telemedicine in the healthcare sector. Still, the adoption of telemedicine is low because we are used to a traditional way of thinking. What we have seen, we have a habit of visiting a doctor, meet one to the doctor, and then doctor will talk with something, talk with you, discuss with you, then suggest the medicine. So we feel generally more convenient. Limited number of studies are there in the context of academics, which focuses how we can improve the adoption. There are several factors which impact, but there is limited studies in the context of India, as well as looking at the challenges and problems what basically physicians are facing, because maximum studies are conducted from the consumer point of view, that means a patient's point of view. But whenever you talk about telemedicine or you are consulting a doctor on an online medium, there is a two-way transaction. That means you are also passing some information to the physicians or doctor, as well as doctors and physicians are also passing some information to you. So it is a two-way communication. So particularly this paper and this study focuses on the physician's part, that is doctor's part, what basically challenges they are faces. Now, to date, there is no study which has used UTA-UT framework because it focuses on the individual. There are numerous studies which focuses on the organizational level, that how they can improve the adoption, but from the organization perspective. Here in this study, we are focusing on the individual perspective, that is the physician perspective. Now, the first construct for this UTA-UT model is perceived expectancy, that is performance expectancy basically. It is related to the user belief, how they feel or how they feel that if they are going to adopt a new technology, it will going to help them in their job performance. When we talk in terms of medical doctors or in healthcare sector, that means is the degree to which an individual or a physician believes that the usage of these technologies which promotes telemedicine will help to deliver better results to the patients. So we are assuming, based on some literature reviews and these studies, we are assuming that it contributes positively and significantly to intention to adopt telemedicine. Second one is effort expectancy. Suppose you want to move from one platform to another platform for moving a technology, then how much ease is there? How much effort you need to put to learn the another technology or another platform? Like in terms of common, if we say that whenever we used to take the classes, there are different platforms, maybe a Zoom, maybe a Teams, maybe a Google Meet. So whenever we have to move from one platform to another, we also think how much effort, how much extra effort we need to do. So same thing is from the doctor's perspective, that how much they have to put extra effort. So it contributes significantly and positively related to adoption of telemedicine. Similarly, social influence, like whenever we used to face any problem related to change in platforms, we seek help from our friends, our experts and all. Social influence, that is the degree to which an individual perceives the person who is important to him or her believe that he or she is using that particular technology. That means your friend is using or that or not, how much they are comfortable with it. So accordingly, the hypothesis was social influence contributes significantly and positively to behavioral intention. Facilitating conditions, basically the degree to which an individual believes that an organizational and a technical infrastructure exists. Basically, whatever resources you require, whatever infrastructure resources you require, they are there available or not. If they are available, you feel more motivated. If they are not available, then what you can do to make it available. So accordingly, we have made the hypothesis facilitating conditions contribute significantly and positively to adopt telemedicine in the healthcare sector. Another construct which has been added to added to UTA-UT model is the personal innovativeness. Now, personal innovativeness basically is willingness of an individual to try out any new technology. So here the individual, that means physicians or doctors, need to try out a new technology, that is telemedicine, to consult the patients to provide them the information. So whether it contributes significantly and positively, that is the fifth hypothesis, that personal innovativeness contributes significantly and positively to behavioral intentions to adopt telemedicine in healthcare sector. Now, if you look at the conceptual framework, basically there are 6 constructs: performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, facilitating conditions, personal innovativeness and behavioral intention. Personal innovativeness is also a moderating impact on these factors when we are looking for behavioral intentions. The methodology what we have adopted for this study is causal, that is since it is a causal research design, basically we have to establish a relationship between more than two variables. So we have used a PLS-based structural iteration modeling. The present studies had followed the guidelines of Flynn and Hare et al. To make that study whatever, if someone else is going to replicate the study, they will get the same results. Data collection, a questionnaire was sent along with a cover letter with the email to the doctors. Cover letter introduced the researcher, explained the purpose and significance of the study. It is a voluntary one. No one was forced anyone to fill. If they are free and feel comfortable to fill that, they are most welcome. Otherwise, they can exclude themselves from the study. Then, whenever we are not getting, we are sending a reminder emails, and we have discussed personally also with many physicians to fill that form. 7-point Likert scale is ranging from not agree to strongly agree has been used for this, and totally 193 completed responses were considered for this study. Similarly, partial least square based analysis is being used to test. The advantage of using PLS is it does not require the normality of data. Even if your data is not normal, you can go ahead with that. Two things were there: measurement model and the structural model. In this case, we have tested many things to make sure that whatever questionnaire, whatever items we are using are measuring what they intend to be, so that to ensure the reliability and validity, we have used Cronbach alpha test to ensure that the items which we are using are reliable. We have ensured the common method bias by two methods. That is, a correlation matrix was constructed, that if intercorrelation between the variables is less than 0.9, then the data is classified that it does not have a common method bias. Converging validity, that one item is converging only to a one construct, that is a single factor by higher factor loading. Discriminant validity, all the factors are discriminant, that means different from each other. So finally we concluded that all the hypotheses were accepted in our case, only the facilitating conditions was not accepted. It's a very, if we consider about performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, then we can easily say that since everyone, this is a we can say that doctor is there to help the patients to identify what problem they are facing and to help them in whatever way they can do. So they believe that going online or basically using telemedicine will helping them to provide better performance to the patients, but facilitating conditions were not there, because whenever there is a change in the platform, whenever there is a change in medium of communication, if we are changing the platform, doctor needs to understand what are the technical complexity there in there. So the more awareness, more training kind of thing, and more awareness about how they can make it more this thing smooth is required. Now, performance expectancy, amongst all these factors, performance expectancy had the most considerable significant positive impact, shows that greater stakeholders' understanding of the telemedicine, more they need to support this method. That is again in the line with the previous studies. According to the findings, there is a significant effect of effort expectancy also. The reason is healthcare sector do not place a high priority on a training in the domain of a cyber laws and cyber crime. Basically, while discussing with the doctors, they are more concerned that if they are sharing, if they are discussing someone else, what are the chances that it will be put online or it will be shared with different patients or different platform also. What is the chances that it is the communication is between the doctor and patients only, and how much it is protected on that way. So there is required some more kind of training and awareness so that they will feel comfortable while using that technology. Organizations should look for providing a standard platform kind of thing so that they can also adopt it in routine work. So it will help them to adopt that telemedicine at a later stage. Now, if it talks about contributions of this study, it contributes in two ways to the literature. One is the telemedicine and healthcare literature. It is amongst the first studies, an initial attempt to address the call for these limited studies in India. And second, it examines the factors affecting the intention to adopt telemedicine. When we talk about method and modeling techniques, it extends the current UTA-UT framework with personal innovativeness in the domain of healthcare sector, as well as it utilizes survey-based research design to examine the factors. Some of the limitations are there, that the study is limited to the Indian context. However, it does not impact much. on the current finding. The current study does not consider the cultural differences amongst the organization because we have considered the individual level. It might be possible, it may have a major factor. Another thing, future research can consider a more longitudinal design to offer more deeper insight into the process of this telemedicine adoption by incorporating more sample size and by incorporating the qualitative component also in the quantitative component. Some of the key references. So this is all from my side. Now, any questions are most welcome from my side.
Thank you very much, Professor Gaurav. That was a very impactful research, I would say. Okay, my one question to you would be, more practically oriented question. Okay, what about this telemedicine industry? Do you think it is going to grow or it is going to replace? Just your opinion, I want to seek.
First part of your question, that definitely it is going to grow because there are several advantages, because some minor diseases we also don't want to visit the hospitals, because nowadays you can see everywhere there is a written brochure or written images where wear mask and wear all these things. So generally there is a psychological thing in our mind that if it is not an urgent, we don't want to visit at least an hospital. So what we feel convenient, if we can discuss with the doctors online, if not a major disease, then we will definitely not go there. We don't want to go to the hospital. So in that way, it will go up, but it cannot replace the traditional one, because again, if we talk about the Indian context, we are deep-rooted our cultural values in a personal one-to-one interaction. So until we will meet someone and discuss our things one-to-one, then we will not feel comfortable. And as a traditional practice, if doctors talk politely and talk in a good way, they will say nothing is there, we feel more comfortable. So we want to see their face also. So in total, it will definitely grow. Industry-wise, it will grow, but it will not replace the traditional one.
Okay. All right. It is going to grow, right?
Yeah.
But, personally, when I see at the telemedicine, then, I also see a deficit in trust, right? Because without any test and all, you are just seeking an opinion and you are going to get the medicine, right? It's,
Yeah, if I want to, the same thing, like we are discussing, we are doing online presentation also. Like if we
Yes.
ask ourselves whether an offline presentation is better than online presentation, or online presentation is going to replace the offline one, the same thing we will say we want to go for an offline presentation. So
Correct,
same
correct.
thing is in the case of healthcare industry also.
Right. Any more question? I think that would be it. So we finished well before time. I guess we finished maybe 15 or 20 minutes before our scheduled time. So that I take positive. We did not cross the time limit which were allocated to us. And personally, I learned a lot today. That is the meaning of conferences, right? 10, 15, hundreds of brains, they gather together and they share their thoughts. And that's how we learn as practitioners or as an academicians. That is the way to, grow and learn. And you get some inputs for your research. You give inputs to the research of others. That's the beauty of conferences. And that would be it. What are the instructions? Our future Professor Udaka, if you can say something.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Professor Shivam Rai. So now we are kind of closing breakout room 2. So still there are some presentations left in breakout room 1. So people in Zoom can go to breakout room 1, and students attending in S4 here. So you can go to UBIC. So there are some presentations still happening. Okay, thank you very much again, Professor Shivam Rai, and sorry for interrupting you while you are talking.
That's okay.
Okay, so yes, okay, bye.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
On single criterion for scheduling. The second one is the multi-objective task scheduling algorithm. The algorithm here thinks about two boundaries, that is the make span, which indicates the total execution of the workload of the tasks, and also about the cost of the service. So additionally, it also thinks about the normal use of the cloud resources. One of the scheduling algorithm, that is the cloud min-max scheduling algorithm, it's just thinks about the minimization of the execution, while another algorithm such as profit-based task scheduling algorithm, it thinks about the service cost. So here, not many of them, they think about the numerous parameters. Moving on to the third one, multi-level priority-based task scheduling algorithm. Here, the past priority-based algorithms, they actually thought about the priority depending on the size of the program. In the mainstream scheduling algorithm, the charts were utilized to organize the different autonomous tasks of the work process. So here the outcomes of the trial, they show that this is an amazing method to stagger the task of the work process, and also it diminishes the execution time and also the make span. The next is the load balancing task scheduling algorithm, which actually concentrates on the workload of the task. Here, the main constraint is the load balancing in the overall processes. But sometimes these algorithms, they do not monitor the nodes which are getting overloaded. So this might lead to performance degradation. So we are in need of load balancing algorithm that have an approach to provide a mechanism to assure that minimal number of nodes would face the overburdening issue, and most of the nodes are available for execution of the task. So we need to think about the weight and the balance of the load in the cloud computing environment. Next is the popular particle swarm optimization algorithm. So here the in this type, multi-dimensional quality of service metrics are actually used. So this application is the famous optimization technique. Here improvements are done dynamically. So this results in the quality of service based dynamic particle swarm optimization, and the experiments of the algorithms which have used the particle swarm optimization have pretty shown that they are pretty effective, and the resource allocation is also done in a proper manner. Next is the energy efficiency task-based algorithm. Enormous power consumption in cloud-based data centers leads to have led to the attention of energy efficiency algorithm. Dynamic voltage and frequency scaling is one of noted algorithm when we talk about the energy efficiency algorithm. The main motto of this type of scheduling technique is to accumulate the more power drop on top to assure the standard service quality of service. So experimental outcomes of algorithms which have used this have actually shown that the power consumption has reduced by 46.5%. And the next one is another cuckoo optimization based algorithm. Here a group of tasks would reach the cloud, and here the system is supposed to reply to all of them because it manages to gain the shortest response time when we use this cuckoo optimization. This algorithm is concerned with by ordering the processing units such that the time of the response is minimized. Next is fault tolerant workflow scheduling algorithm. Now this task scheduling makes the selection of tasks for execution based on two estimating models, that is on demand and spot instances, to cut down the service cost and at the same time to fulfill the workload deadlines also. And the last one is the green efficiency, energy efficiency based algorithm. So here it mainly depends on priority task scheduling algorithm. The weight of the virtual machines and the service level agreements needed by the clients are utilized as parameters for priority choosing the virtual machines. So these are some of the existing task scheduling methods. And now let us move on to a review of recent algorithms. So here the first one was, we have taken a paper that is by Wei et al. So here they suggested a simulated annealing multi-population genetic algorithm. They have used Maxman algorithm, and using this approach, they were able to improve the search efficiency. And the simulations were done in MATLAB, and the experimental results revealed that the suggested method outperformed in terms of completion time and also the cost and the speed. The second one is by Wu et al. And this paper, they have used the particle swarm algorithm. They have used an iterative selection operator, and this has proved that they have an enhanced optimization and it takes less time. The third paper, research paper, was by Sima et al. And they have used an enhanced initialization of, again, the particle swarm algorithm. They have also implemented the longest job to fastest processor and minimum completion time algorithms in that. So here it has a reduced make span and a very good total execution time. And also they have concentrated on energy efficiency also. And fourth paper is by Heeling and E et al. Group, and they have used static independent task scheduling on virtualized servers that included the allocation of tasks to appropriate virtual machines. So here the availability of every resource was evaluated, and then along with the number of processing components, and then the tasks were grouped along with that. CloudSim was used to prove the efficiency. The fifth one, we have considered a Q et al. Workflow task scheduling algorithm. They have used genetic algorithm for that. So they have actually initially top-down leveling was done to allocate the priority for every task, and genetic crossover and mutation operation was used. The experiments were also done, and efficiency was proved by them. And View et al., they used a algorithm on the basis of 3 queues and dynamic priority. So here, the jobs were split into various categories, and on the basis of the data input, output, and the input rate discrete and the output discrete, the algorithm was designed and experimental results were proved. Sanaj et al., they used a map reducing model, and again using the genetic algorithm and whale optimization. And here they used to split the enormous task into subtasks, and they were able to prove the results by using the CloudSim tool. Yukin and Zian, they used a technique of initial optimization, and they improved the genetic algorithm known as adaptive genetic algorithm. They used the binary coded chromosomes, and again they used the simulation tool CloudSim. And here the 9th paper, it shows our own paper that we have worked an energy enhanced energy conscious workflow scheduling algorithm. So here we have used a budget allotment procedure, and then we have actually considered the CPU requirement and also memory requirement for every job task, and we have tried to duplicate a job's successor so that automatically they'll be executed to improve the make span and then resource utilization and also the energy efficiency. So we have done a review of 9 different algorithms in depth, and from the tabular column we have seen that many algorithms, many scheduling techniques, they have actually improved the make span. That is, reduced make span is nothing but the reduction in the completion time, and they have considered few parameters, and they were able to achieve one or more performance metrics. So here, when we see here, the last algorithm, that is ESS, Energy Enhanced Sub-Swarm algorithm, it was able to give a better result. And still, we need to concentrate on fault tolerance. One or few algorithms have actually worked on fault tolerance. The remaining have actually concentrated on the make span or on the resource utilization. So I would like to conclude that cloud computing has a dynamic nature that causes frequently emerging to the numerous challenges. Task scheduling is definitely going to be one of them, looking at the number of users increasing on a daily basis. The aim of any task scheduling algorithm is to reduce the make span, the execution time of a task, and utilize the resources in the most possible way. Various algorithms were explored in this paper, but as task scheduling is a heuristic approach, this field can be explored further for achieving more optimal solutions. And the enhanced Schwarzbaum algorithm also need to consider few more metrics so that it is more optimized. These are the references that has been used. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions from the audience? Very well. Thank you very much. And that was a nice presentation. Wish you all the best for the rest of the research work.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have Mariam and Naha? Their paper titled Practices of Microsoft Innovation Educated Experts in the Light of IST Standards. I think so. They are not there. So that brings end of this session. We had 8 papers in all. And by and large, all the presenters were keeping up to the time and the clarity was there, bringing out various research components of their research work. It was very educative and most of the ideas were well presented. So thank you very much for all the presenters and thank you very much for the conference organizers. Over to Dr. Debapriya Roy for the rest of the session.
So Professor Roy is not here. So we will be ending the meeting now. Thank you everyone for your time today. And I thank Professor Ashok for acting as the session chair.
Thank you.
So we will be meeting tomorrow morning at the first session. Thank you everyone. Now I will be ending the session here.